untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. Officials and newsmen at first discounted those eyewitness descriptions as being beyond belief. However, the reports persisted.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.
Timing is everything.
Dude, I guess I forgot I had that intro set still on there instead of just being able to click
Good
it.
job.
So, hey everybody, welcome to Boogeyman.
What
We're
a
back.
zinger. We are back.
We're back, baby. We are back.
It's so good to be back. Missed you. Missed everybody. Hope everyone's doing very, very well. Oh, I forgot we got to open up Facebook stream because, it doesn't let us see the chats for some weird reason.
Yeah, about that.
Ain't no thing.
Ain't no thing.
What?
What?
Who is texting me at this time?
You're already getting text messages?
I know. What? I don't understand.
Oh my God. Very professional, Charles.
It happens. It's okay.
Let's see.
There was a delay. Weird. All right, cool. I'm back now.
Okay.
All right. Hi, everybody. Oh, camera's over there. Jeez, I'm so used to it being like on this right side, I think. I can't remember since I moved my setup.
I got to do this. Mute that. All right. Oh, my gosh. So, guys, we are dealing with a new setup here.
Yes, we are.
What's up, Jerry?
Jerry!
We'll see if we get anybody else joining in.
Hopefully. We'll see. Hey, and he's on YouTube. Nice.
And he's on Facebook.
Hello, Kimberly. Glad to have you here. What was that?
That wasn't me.
That audio wasn't you.
That wasn't me. Weird.
I'm going to call BS on that one.
No, I promise you that wasn't me.
Okay. Well, don't know where it came from. So
from Bryant, Arkansas. Where's Bryant?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know. I don't know either. But welcome to the show. Guys, tonight we are going to be talking about one of the most prolific serial killers.
Yes.
Which is better to view? Whatever you want.
Whichever one's more convenient.
Yes.
With YouTube, we don't have to monitor the chat as far as going to YouTube, opening up a page, and looking at the chat. With Facebook, we have to do that.
Yeah, so we can see who is chatting with us.
Exactly.
So we went away for a little while.
We've been
took a hiatus.
Beautiful all the time. What?
Took a hiatus. And lots happened since we wrapped up the Midwest Mystery Tour, which we had a great ending to. Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Mitch. Nice. What's up, Mitch?
We had a great ending to the Midwest Mystery Tour. Wrapped up at McIntyre Villa. Are you having issues over there?
No, I just side note, the comment's out, I guess, right now.
Huh?
People can see it. There's a comment. People can see a comment right now. My sister just sent me a picture of it.
What?
Freaking dope. And we're providing entertainment for you, fine people. I almost said fellow people, but whatever.
Oh, you fellow humans, my fellow Americans.
Honest. What?
But yeah, I got to film with KY3 again.
Yes.
We filmed at the Titanic Museum.
Oh yeah, Dave, how's your 2 months been? I'm just kidding. Don't actually relay on your 2 months because we've been gone for 2 months. Don't actually do that. Just the highlights.
Yeah. That's what I'm done. Hopefully, here in the next week or two, I'll have the videos for the Titanic Museum up and out there. I got a couple events that I'm doing, public speaking engagement locally, so that's gonna be fun. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about getting back into this. This is
same.
I kind of miss this. I'm
excited for you.
And what was really shitty was the time that we were gone.
Yeah.
StreamYard decided that they were going to up their prices and
$45, wasn't it?
$45.
Good God. For the low end, for the basic package, $45.
So we bounced
Ridiculous.
as we should, as anybody should.
100%.
And we found Streamlabs, and we were using their like the OBS system, and we were having headaches with that all the way up until last night. And then for some reason we didn't notice this online dashboard thing that they've got, and now we're in this studio and it's working out really well, and it's nice. It's nice.
Oh yeah, super duper nice.
And Charles, you've been up to some stuff, haven't you? Investigating?
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
Yeah.
I went to. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I went to Missouri State Pen. I would say probably. Gosh, what is it now? 2 weeks, 3 weeks now. So
Talk about that, please.
yeah, I am. I'm definitely going to talk about that. So I was invited by a friend of mine who bought tickets for the 5-hour investigation at Missouri State Pen. And unbeknownst to the rest of the crew, before I get into that, we're all super excited, right? We're all ready to have fun. We're all ready to go and just have a great time, investigate. And I kind of knew what I was getting into. It's like a group of 20, 25 people, big, pretty good size group. And, but Missouri State Pen, it's got 3 huge spots. No big deal. 20, 25 people, nothing.
Right.
So the entire time out there, we're talking about like, oh, we can't wait for the death row cells. I can't wait to do this in the death row
Now,
cells.
explain why you couldn't wait for those.
Okay, so the first time that I went to Missouri State Pen, I had no idea the death row cells even existed
Or where they were at.
Yeah,
Obviously.
well, I didn't know. So we went to that main cell block, right, in that one building. I don't know what they call it. So I thought that was it. I thought that was the only part of that building. I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, sounds, whatever. And then later on in the night, I find out that there's a whole death row cell section down there, and it is creepy as hell. It is super creepy.
Right.
And I was like, well, dang. Well, next time I come here, I'm going to have to investigate it now. Well, we show up, and I'm like, oh, I got to go outside and just like soak all of it in, right? We get there, it's dark, but you could still like the whole seeing the light through the glass. Oh, look,
The green.
Yeah. It's, doing that whole thing. And I get out there, and there's fencing around the building. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? Thinking to myself. This lady, she brings another tour group through, and I think somebody from that group mentioned, like, hey, what's up with the fencing? Like, oh, well, we're tearing down the building on the other side of that building, and the state has told us that we have to completely rope that building off, and no one is allowed to go in that building. No one, not even staff, is allowed to go in that building.
So, up their asses.
Oh yeah. So, but I will say why they had to do that. They hit the corner of some foundation, either the building they were taking down or it was the building next to it. And they were afraid that it wasn't structurally sound anymore. So the state's like, nah, done. You're not doing it anymore. So they have to wait until the building's completely torn down, which I think they only had maybe a fourth of the building teared down at the time.
Dang.
So we didn't have access to the death row cells whatsoever. Here's the worst part. My friend had no idea about it whatsoever. He bought his tickets months ago. And from my understanding, they did not send him an email notification or anything saying, hey, building is shut down. Sorry for the inconvenience. We opened up 2 different sections for you guys to investigate. They opened up the warden. I'm not going to say I don't know if it was the warden's office. It was some sort of office upstairs, kind of overlooking the yard or the courtyard, essentially right outside the building.
Right.
Which was kind of cool to sit in. I would have loved to have more time in that area to myself. New. Yeah. And then they opened up the visitors section too. So where that is, you don't get to be on the side of where the visitors see into the jail, like see into the cellmates. You got to go into the part where the cellmates are looking out into the visitor section.
Okay.
And it is tight. It is super narrow.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, it was very, very narrow. Couldn't really get into it. So honestly, we spent most of our time down in death row. And I would say about 85 to 90% of the people that went there or that showed up for the investigation were all new people. Like first investigation, never have been from a lot of people that I had talked to.
Yeah.
And but there were several that were teams. They were doing their own thing. I was like, okay, I can respect that. Whatever. People are interested. But you could tell as the night went on, people were irritated about that building being closed down and that nobody was notified. So as the night went on, people started leaving.
Yeah, that's the thing that gets me is that nobody was notified about that.
Well,
I guarantee you if they notified people, there would be some cancellations. And
exactly.
They probably didn't want that.
That is what I was thinking was going to happen. And, it's sad. It is absolutely sad that is what it comes to. But things happen.
It is what it is.
I would love to go again, obviously. I'd prefer not to go with 20, 25 other people when there's a huge section of the building shut down.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it would just be fun to go back in there. Like, even if it wasn't for filming or nothing like that, just for a couple hours or something.
Eventually I stopped bringing out my gear and I just started honestly asking questions, getting any noises or anything to happen.
Yeah.
Because when you're carrying around a backpack full of stuff, it kind of
should have started provoking just to piss everybody off.
Jeez, that would have been hilarious. Hey, you're banned. Never come back. Honestly, I spent some time too. There was one of the tour guides. He just sat in the main long corridor of the cell block where the isolation cells are and the showers and all that kind of stuff. It was also so that became like the cell block you wanted to be in eventually, because people had certain not rights, but people had certain things that they could do, like recreational wise privileges. Thank you. They had certain privileges in that building, so that was the place to be. But this guy set up a laser grid about halfway down on a table, and we shot it towards the back half, and people were, oh my god, I see a shadow, or and don't get me wrong, there was a couple times my friends they saw something and other people would look up and oh my god, I see it too. But
so
what's true, what's not true, you know what I mean?
I was I did an event a while back with some people, and a friend of mine, he wanted to just kind of test everybody, and he's like, oh my god, I just saw a shadow, and then everybody jumped on board and you saw it too? I saw it. He didn't see anything. He was just saying it just to see everybody freak out and see how many people would actually say, oh yeah, I saw a shadow.
People just want the latest thrill.
I was like, you're a dick. And he's like, yeah, that was just funny though.
Yeah, it is.
Just wanted to see.
You really test the ones who are there actually investigating or going along with the hype just to get scared.
Yeah.
Because that's what I find most of the time is it's people just oh, big scary building, I want to have an experience. You know what I mean? It's there my Darth Vader lights, my eyes dimmed. There's something wrong with the wiring in that one. I gotta figure out what's going on with that guy.
Use the Force.
I know, I wish. I'm hoping so too. They said that it was supposed to be done by the end of summer, but clearly not if they only did a third of the build or a fourth of the building. So the dungeon in building 4 is weird. The mayor's office is the newly opened section. Yes, that's it. That's it, Kimberly. And it was really cool going into the mayor's office. I actually really enjoyed that. But with the amount of people, I didn't want to be selfish and spend all my time there and let other people not have a chance,
Yeah.
So I was just like, whatever. We'll come and go, see what it's all about, sit for a little bit. They had some chairs in a circle, so there's plenty of space up there to do some different experiments and stuff. But the other thing too is it was kind of windy, so the door was just one of the doors leading outside would just hit up against the side of it, where it's hit, where it's at. I'm
sure that made some people jump.
Oh, I guarantee it did. I guarantee. I just immediately go, well, that's something.
Right.
just to kind of point it out and okay, that's clearly the door.
No, it was a ghost. I didn't see
it. Yeah. You guys hear that? Oh my god, what the hell?
So something I want to just touch on this, but we're not gonna go into a full length discussion.
Yeah, because we need to get into the show.
Yeah,
we're running out of time.
We're gonna have a long one. Ooh, excuse me. Did you see Sam and Colby? They bought the Farrar Schoolhouse.
I did see that.
Apparently,
yeah.
So I've investigated there. I filmed there. I think they were charging like $400 or something like that just to investigate there. That's not bad.
No.
And you got to stay till like 8 or 9 or something like that in the morning. Former owners, they were really nice. Now Sam and Colby have it, and somebody was doing some research on their website that they've made, and apparently it is. I hope you guys are sitting down when you hear this. Apparently it is no longer $400. It is now $1,250 to investigate.
God. What? What? Hear that part? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. $1,250 to investigate, and it gets better. You get a whole 5 hours to investigate.
So I bet they only expect people that are rich, have YouTube channels that are super famous, and TV shows.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only people that could probably go into that place.
That is literally it.
Unless they do the typical tours of, hey, bring 20 of your friends and y'all pay $50-$60. You know what I mean? Like
pay $100.
Yeah, that's true. That's good. I'd probably pay $100. Yeah.
I was laying down and now I'm shaking my fist.
Jesus,
give me the strength.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I can't deal with that. No, that's another location I'll never get to go to. So
yeah, that location, that's what a lot of people are pissed off about right now, is now that they have it and they did that, they have now weeded out all the investigators. Anybody that wanted to go there and enjoy the thing cannot now.
You know what? To be fair, if I ever strike it rich one day, then I'll go. But we'll see.
I'll say I had a great experience, great time there.
Oh, you've been?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were been there.
I just got done saying I filmed there.
I'm just kidding, dude.
Amnesia, I'm sorry. Like I seen a partial apparition there. Saw the bottom half of a leg go through a doorway, and heard a voice that was seemingly responding to some questions I was asking, and had a couple things come through the spirit box. And but you know, would I pay that much to go back to a place that I've had that experience? Hell no.
I wouldn't even pay that much for Waverly. I'm just saying. I don't think I'd pay that much to, well, actually,
all the good stuff is blocked off.
I'd pay that much to visit Dracula's castle because I got to spend that much money to get over there in the first place.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a different story.
I would rather enjoy that history for $1,200 than I would the Farrar Schoolhouse.
Oh, I hope not either, Cassie. I hope not either. That would be really crappy if Kansas State Prison did that.
I need to get a hold of them.
Yes, you do. That's the one that's opening up in is it? No, I'm thinking the one in Lansing. Whatever that one is. I hope something happens with that. All right, I don't know who that is, man.
I'm gonna guess.
I'm gonna guess Silent.
Yeah.
Or
what did he change his
Silent
name to?
Yeah, I'm gonna guess Silent.
He changed his name to something, and now I'm guessing this is it. So what's up, man?
I can't even pronounce it. That we did get another comment up above from Kimberly.
Oh,
there's too many great participation. Also have 2 incredible photos of either of you are interested.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Send them, I guess, Boogeyman Radio. Or wait, can they send messages in YouTube or not?
No.
Does YouTube have it? Okay.
No.
Yeah, look us up on Facebook and send us a message on Facebook. It's the same, obviously, Boogeyman Radio. If you're not following us on Facebook already. That's pretty dope, though.
Like I said, I don't want to really get too far into it. Maybe sometime
we'll talk about it.
We'll have
we've missed out on a lot of things. So
about what's going on.
We haven't even talked about the Conjuring House stuff in a long time either. So
yeah, no.
Good times.
There's a lot of stuff going on, and
there is a lot of stuff going on. But
and real quick, also, dude, you got to watch Expedition X. It's so cringe.
It is
so cringe, and I hate that.
Exciting from Expedition X, where they found Oh, human remains at a site that's really famous. It was the site that was featured in Indiana Jones and the
I'm
blanking. The one with the dad.
that was on Expedition Unknown.
Was that what it was? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that episode.
That's pretty dope. No,
out.
Expedition X. This last season, they have a new chick on there who, holy crap, awful.
Oh yeah.
What's her name? Acting. I don't even care to know.
Okay. Worse than Kesha?
It's pretty awful acting.
Oh, I shouldn't throw her under the bus. She's had a hard life. Anyways.
Yeah,
that's right. It's silent. I knew it. Called it.
Can we decipher your name?
Can you? I know what the middle thing there is, but I don't know what the other stuff is. the numbers and the middle just makes me think of one thing that I'm not going to say because Facebook or not Facebook because
it's something
YouTube. I'm not going to say it.
It's so tiny. Something jelly soup. Blind.
Oh, pigs what I read.
Eat jelly soup. 24/7.
Nice, clever, good job.
You didn't see that?
He probably did that. No, I saw something else. I'll tell you later.
Oh, I know what you saw.
Oh, okay. All right.
Believe me, I saw it too.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no,
he wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't do
that, or would he? Good times. Dave got it. Yep. Dave got it. All right. Hide that thing. All right. Let's jump into this, man. Let's talk about this. I'm surprised we haven't talked about this already.
I know, guys. Let me know if the background music's too loud because I'm going to add some ambience.
Oh, okay. Well, now your audio sucks.
What?
No, you're back. Now you're good.
All right.
No, it went out. You can ask the chat. It went out for a second. I'm just saying.
Maybe it's your ears. You got hearing problems.
Am I hearing a plane flying over you?
No, it's the ambient music.
Oh, wow! It sounded like
whoa.
I'm not gonna lie.
All right.
Great.
So on this channel, we've done true crime. We've done serial killers like Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. This one, I am also surprised that we haven't done this one yet because this is one of the more infamous serial killers that the Americas has known. Yep. And we can't put a name on him. All we can do is just call him by his code name, the Zodiac Killer.
Yep.
Nice. Let me get into this. Let me just start it off with a little read here for you guys, and then we'll get into some chilling stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. 64 hours of trying to debunk and nada.
So there's a quote. I like killing people because it's so much fun.
Is that a confession, Dave? No, I'm kidding. I know you're reading it.
Reading what?
Whatever.
Oh.
Guilty conscience. What?
In July of 1969, a letter arrived at the San Francisco Examiner newspaper containing those chilling words in a coded message. The sender, the soon-to-be notorious Zodiac, a serial killer who terrorized Northern California in the late 1960s and early 1970s with a combination of grisly murders and bizarre public letters brimming. Well, that was perfect timing. Brimming with horrific threats, demented demands, and mysterious ciphers teasing his identity. That identity has stymied law enforcement officials, professional code breakers, and armchair criminologists alike for nearly 5 decades. That's 50 years for you, the layman.
That's a lot.
While officially connected to 5 murders and 2 attempted murders, the Zodiac hinted that he had killed at least 37 victims.
That's it? Kidding.
After taunting the police, I know you one-upped them. After taunting police, the public with nearly 2 dozen communiques, He seemed to vanish in the late 1970s, but his twisted legacy endures, having inspired 3 real-life copycat killers and dozens of books, TV shows, and movies, including, most famously, Clint Eastwood's Dirty Harry. So we're going to get into some of these murders. We're going to get into some of these suspects. And then we're going to be introducing a new revelation, if you will.
Yeah. I'm down.
And we'll get into that later.
Well, then we'll also talk about the cracked message. Did you see the cracked message already?
One from 2020.
What?
It was Z340 is what they labeled it. It was one of the hardest ones
Yeah, it was like 40 or not 40. Yeah, it was Thursday. Well, they talked about it in 2021, but it might have been 2020. Yeah. Either way.
But yeah.
I think it's in 2020. Anyways, yeah. Yeah, it's just there's so much obvious like speculation, but there's one theory in particular that like one of the suspects to me just makes so much sense, but then there's also another theory that we'll get into later that just makes even more sense as to why the guy would get away with it. 100%.
Actually, what's her name?
I'm lost.
Courtney Love did Cobain. Come on.
Absolutely. There's no way he could pull that trigger in that position. There's no way.
Anyway. Getting sidetracked there.
So different murder.
Let's go into his timeline.
One we have talked about.
So you've got a website that's the official Zodiac Killer website.
It's literally called zodiackiller.com.
Dude, what if the Zodiac Killer put that website up?
That would be wild.
My phone is blowing up right now.
See? It's a thing. I don't know what's going on. But we'll get into his first, we'll do his first killing first, obviously. First killing first. Double. It happened on December 20th, and it was David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen. So I don't really know a lot of the details leading up to it. Obviously, I know that they were in a station wagon, probably having some sweet time for themselves, which, that's what couples do. It's a thing. Mm-hmm. And so this couple in particular, they were in the car doing things, whatever. And I know the gal talked about how there was or was it this one? Shoot.
Wait, which one are you on?
I'm taking the wrong one. Sorry. Let me back up real quick. So just method of attack here. Let's just redo this. It took place along Lake Herman Road on the eastern outskirts of Vallejo, California. The time of death was around 11:15ish, approximately, and it was December 20th, 1968. It was a Friday.
Oh man, I've got an earlier one.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one did you do? Wait, which one do you have?
All the way back.
62, Ray Davis?
No, 1963 in Santa Barbara.
What's the name?
Robert Domingos and Linda Edwards.
Well, you know what? Let's start with the 62 one first, and then we'll go
into chronologically.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't realize that they had even more. So this other guy named Ray Davis, he was murdered. Davis, age 27, was shot twice from behind in his own cab. The weapon was of a .22 caliber, and the ammunition was a long rifle, which makes total sense.
No, it wasn't proven, Morty.
Oh, after becoming a stranger. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say it was insinuated in a film that it was Lee Allen.
Oh, Lee Allen. Yeah. With his wife, or from his wife, Davis lived with his brother in a rented house at 525 South Tremont Street in Oceanside. At 11:10 p.m., Davis, a driver for the Checker Cab Company, picked up a fare at downtown cab stand, possibly on Mission Avenue, and notified his dispatcher that he was delivering the fare to a location in the South Oceanside. Davis was never heard from again. Early the next morning, the body of Davis was found in the exclusive, upscale neighborhood called St. Malo, Oceanside's first gated community. Davis had been shot twice from the back of the head of his cab, in the back of his head from his cab. one shot to his back and the other to his head. After dumping the body off, his killer escaped in the cab before quickly abandoning it at 400 South Pacific Street. The exact dump site of the body was an alley directly behind 1926 South Pacific Street. The investigation revealed that Davis wasn't robbed, and the police could never establish a motive. So, from what he took his money. No, he didn't take his money. It was I think it was his keys. But other than that, he really wasn't robbed. It was weird. So is this a Zodiac victim? The killer of Ray Davis called the police in advance and warned them he would soon be committing a baffling crime. Soon after Davis was killed, the police received another phone call from the killer, this time threatening to target a random bus driver. Servicemen from the nearby Camp Pendleton were used to help guard bus stops. Astonishingly, even though by the late 1969, the Zodiac Killer was making headlines throughout the country and no law enforcement agency ever noticed the many similarities between the unsolved murder of Ray Davis and the unsolved Zodiac killings, those eerie similarities look like shooting a cab driver to death in the wealthiest neighborhood of the city, calling the police to take credit for a murder, contacting the police to warn of future murders, openly stating his intent was to baffle the police, making a bus the subject of a death threat, displaying a no obvious motive for the murder, and using both a .22 weapon and long rifle ammunition in the same killing. The conclusion is, with all the unusual similarities between the confirmed Zodiac attacks and the murder of Ray Davis, I only see two possibilities. The Zodiac Killer somehow learned of Davis' case and decided to copy it, or Davis was killed by the actual Zodiac. In 1971 letter, the Zodiac Killer claimed he had many undiscovered victims in Southern California, and I believe Davis was likely one of them. While there is no available DNA in the Davis case, the possibility exists of using ballistics to prove the same .22 weapon was used in both the Zodiac case and the murder of Ray Davis, which would give us definitive proof. For now, however, Davis is definitely a possible Zodiac victim. Pretty wild. Pretty wild.
The one I've got following that happened in Santa Barbara on June 4th in 1963. Robert Domingos and his fiancee, she was that bad of a fiance, I guess, and his fiancee, Linda Edwards, were seniors at Lompoc High School in Santa Barbara County in Southern Cal. On Tuesday in early June 1963, the couple decided to use their senior ditch day to go sunbathing on a beach near Gavoida State Park. When the two teenagers didn't return home by Wednesday, Robert's father went to the beach and was horrified to discover their bodies lying together inside the remains of a crumbling shack. The victims, bound with rope, had apparently tried to escape, but were shot and killed with a .22 caliber weapon. Robert was shot 11 times, and Linda had been shot 9. The killer then dragged the bodies to the shack where he tried and failed to start a fire. Investigators had few leads, but in 1972, the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Department announced a possible Zodiac connection. The beach killer used Winchester Western Super X ammunition, the same ammunition used by the Zodiac during the 1968 murders on Lake Herman Road. The Domingos Edwards case also had similarities to the Zodiac's attack of another young couple at Lake Berryessa in 1969. Hey, Jess.
Jess is in the house.
The next one I have is Riverside of 1966.
Riverside of 1966. Does it say what the name is? Of who? Yeah, it's
Mary Bates.
Yeah, I have that one as well.
Okay, go ahead and do that one.
All right. So, the death occurred approximately between 9:23 on October 30th and then 12:23 a.m. on Halloween. So, place of attack was an alley on campus of Riverside City College, Riverside, California. Method of attack. A 1966 graduate of Riverside's Ramona High School, 18-year-old Sherry Jo Bates, was beaten and stabbed multiple times with a short-bladed knife. Her throat was also cut. There was no evidence of robbery or molestation. I probably shouldn't say that too loud on YouTube. Well, we're in
It'll be
several
all right.
minutes. Yeah. There were no what?
We're talking about killers, so
True. There were no witnesses. Bates had visited her college library, and police believe that when her Volkswagen Beetle was disabled by the eventual killer, her car was found approximately 100 yards from the alley where she was killed. A men's Times X watch with a band suggesting a 7-inch wrist was found at the scene, along with a military-style heel print indicating a shoe size between 8 and 10. The origin of the watch was eventually traced to a military post, possibly in England. The shoe could have been sold at a nearby March Air Force Base. Investigators established the watch was ripped from the attacker's wrist during the struggle, right? Along with the watch stopped at 12:24. It's unknown exactly when the crime occurred. Bates died very quickly. So what makes this a Zodiac victim? Zodiac was first considered a suspect in the Bates murder in October 1969. Dang, it took you that long to consider that. Okay. When the Riverside Police Department noted similarities between the Bates case and the Napa County Zodiac killing of September 27, 1969. Well, that makes sense why it's okay. That makes sense now. I answered my own question. By November 1970, the news media had gotten wind of the possible Zodiac Bates connection, and both the San Francisco Chronicle and Los Angeles Times published lengthy stories. Zodiac detectives from San Francisco Bay Area met with investigators handling the Bates case, and the conclusion was made that Zodiac was Sherry's killer. Eventually, the Zodiac sent a letter to the Los Angeles Times, postmarked March 13th, 1971, accepting responsibility for the Bates crime, as in the subsequent Zodiac attacks. Now I can't read. The Bates case saw police taunting letters written to a newspaper. A confession letter was mailed anonymously from Riverside on November 29th, 1966, to both the Riverside Police Department and the Riverside Press Enterprise newspaper, and included details of the murder that had never been revealed by police. In December 1966, a desk with a morbid poem scratched into the surface was discovered in the college library. The writing was eventually attributed to the Zodiac Killer. Additionally, the 3 other letters sent anonymously from Riverside on April 30th, 1967, to the above recipients, as well as the victim's father, Joseph, have been attributed to the Zodiac. Give me just a second here. I'm going to pull up. I should have done this a little bit earlier. It might be too graphic to read it, so I'm just going to share it. Might be a little hard to read, but it's pretty crazy. I actually read it earlier. Threw me off a little bit.
On the one I've got, it's got like basically cliff notes of the letters.
Of the letters?
Yeah.
That might be better.
Okay. So, 1 month after the murder, the local newspaper and police department received typewritten letters titled The Confession from someone who claimed to be the killer. The author wrote, "Miss Bates was stupid. She went to the slaughter like a lamb," and added, "I am not sick. I am insane." In April of 1967, the newspaper, the police, and Joseph Bates received virtually identical handwritten letters, which read, "Bates had to die. There will be more." The notes were signed with a symbol that resembled a letter Z. In 1969, Riverside Police contacted investigators in Northern California regarding the similarities between Zodiac crimes and the murder of Sherry Bates. Sherwood Morrill, then documents examiner, who was then documents examiner for the California Department of Justice, concluded that the Zodiac was responsible for the notes linked to the Bates case. The Riverside connection was later revealed to the public by Paul Avery, reporter for the San Francisco Chronicle. Zodiac then sent a letter to the Los Angeles Times indicating that the killer confirmed the theory that he had killed Bates. The Zodiac wrote, "I do have to give them credit for stumbling across my Riverside activity, but they are only finding the easy ones. There are a hell of a lot more down there."
Which killing was this again? Was this still the same one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
I've got another picture to show too.
Years later, Riverside police rejected the Zodiac theory and focused on a man who they said was a jilted former lover of Bates. In the late 1990s, police obtained a sample of the suspect's DNA to compare with the DNA taken from the hairs found in the victim's hand in 1966. The DNA did not match, and the suspect denied any involvement in the murder.
Did they say who the suspect was?
It does not.
Okay. So this is the poem that was etched on the desk that was found. It says, sick of living / unwilling to die. Cut, clean. I don't know what that says. If red, clean. I don't know what that one says. Blood spurting, dripping, spilling all over her new dress. Oh well, it was red anyway. Life draining into an uncertain death. She won't die this time. Someone it find her. Just wait till next time. RH. I'm gonna
someone with 2 L's, like someone will
find her. Which is, it's, you actually, so the reason why people thought that this could have been the Zodiac, because Zodiac misspelled things.
He all had horrible handwriting
all the time. Yeah.
Horrible spelling. Like this is probably like a 6-year-old or something.
Right. Which that poem will actually play into something later on.
Yes.
By the way.
All right. The next one I have on the timeline is Benicia of December 20th, 1968.
1968?
Yes.
I have David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen, which is December 20th, 1968.
Yeah, that's the same one.
Okay.
So 5 nights before Christmas, high school students Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday set out on their first official date together. Oh. Promising Betty Lou's parents they'd be home by 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Shortly after that time, passing motorists saw the Rambler and its occupants parked at Lover's Lane spot along Lake Herman Road in Benicia, California. Moments later, another driver noticed 2 seemingly lifeless bodies on the side of the road.
Just laying there.
Benicia, yeah. Benicia police and others responded to the scene and discovered Betty Lou dead with 5 bullet wounds in her back. David was found next to the Rambler with a bullet wound in his head, still breathing but near death. Bullet holes in the car roof and back window indicated that the killer may have fired warning shots to force the victims out of the vehicle. Shell casings recovered at the crime scene identified ammunition as Winchester Western Super X copper coated. Ballistic evidence indicated that the killer used a .22 caliber, possibly a J.C. Higgins Model 80 semi-automatic pistol. Investigators believed the 2 teenagers were likely random targets killed by a stranger for unknown reasons. And again, so you had the one, what was it? You had one that was like around Halloween.
Yep.
The Darlene Ferrin murder was July 4th.
Yep.
And then we had one that was around Christmas, near Christmas.
This one.
On December 20th.
Yep.
So, seeing a pattern here, folks?
A little bit.
All right.
A little bit.
Next one.
All right. So, I will say, to add, other sources have speculated that the Zodiac wasn't responsible for this one because there were no taunting letters, no phone calls were received until months after the murder. Right. So some thought that maybe it was like a copycat trying to, because I'm just saying anybody could write it in, right? But the thing is, did the handwriting match?
Right.
That's the question. But, all right, so next one. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Jess says, I hate what serial killers do. I just find the stories in psychology interesting. Yeah. I get angry when I think about how their victims suffered. Honestly, I really don't think that these people have suffered. I think this person is just going up and shooting them.
Yeah.
Not really torturing them or nothing like that. Just
yeah.
That's what it seems like, at least. Could be wrong.
Yeah. So the next one I have is Darlene Farron and Mike Magau, however you say it.
Mago.
Yep, something like that. So the let's see, Farron was killed July 5th. Basically, it was the same day. She was killed. He was wounded, so he survived.
It was technically July 4th, but it was around midnight, I believe.
Yeah, approximately. I can't talk today. I'm sorry. When can I? Yeah, approximately 12:10ish. It was the parking lot of a secluded Blue Rock Spring Park on the eastern outskirts of Vallejo, California. Method of attack: Darlene was 22 and was shot 9 times. Mike was 19, was shot 4 times. The weapon was a 9mm semi-automatic pistol. Yeah. By that time, I don't know if there were automatic pistols back then, so we'll just go with it. There are no indications of robbery or molestation, but there was no witnesses either. So the details of this case: Farron was married and worked as a waitress at the Terry restaurant. Was a single man and worked as a laborer. Farron's husband, Dean, was initially a suspect in the murder. However, it was ruled out once it was established he was working as a cook at Caesar's restaurant at the time of the murder.
Is this the real Caesar's Palace?
Right, I guess. It's in Vallejo, I guess.
Does Caesar live here?
Does Caesar live here? Good movie. Farron's first husband, James Philip Crabtree, was also briefly a suspect. Man, this lady got around. She did not waste time.
Yes.
Lady of the night. Anyways, according to the surviving victim, I'm just going to call him Mag, he and Farron had parked in the isolated location to talk. Talk? Okay.
We got to talk.
Yeah, we got to talk. A car, possibly a light brown Ford Mustang or Chevy Corvair, pulled into the parking lot just a few feet away. A man with a flashlight exited the vehicle and approached them. There were no other cars in the parking lot. Thinking it was a police officer, remember that, the police had their identification ready. The couple had their identification ready. Without warning, the man began firing at the couple. After 5 shots were fired, the man walked away slowly back to his car. Mag screamed in pain, at which point the man returned and fired 2 more shots into each victim.
Shut up!
He had to go reload. That's why he had to go reload. I'm sorry, that's messed up to say. It was at that point that Mag got a look at him. The man was white, 5'8" to 5'9", in his late 20s and early 30s, stocky build, round face, and brown hair. No conversation between the victims and the man occurred. Approximately 45 minutes later, the Vallejo Police Department received a call from a man claiming responsibility for the attack. He correctly identified the weapon used as a 9mm and also took credit for the Faraday Jensen murders of December 20th, 1968. For the next few weeks, the investigation went nowhere. Then, on July 31st, 1969, letters were sent to Vallejo Times, Herald, San Francisco Examiner, and San Francisco Chronicle. The letters claimed to be from the killer of Faraday, Jensen, and Farron. Details were included that only the killer could have known.
I'm going to put these up on the screen here.
Each letter contained 1/3 of a cipher that, if solved, supposedly contained the killer's identity. While the killer hadn't yet given his name, they dubbed him the Zodiac. This marked the beginning of a letter-writing spree that would have gone on for more than 5 years. So, before I get into the conclusion, let's just go with this. Hear me out real quick.
I want to read the letter.
Yeah, go for it.
Quick, as best as I can, because it is like a 4-year-old here.
Yeah.
I am the killer of the 2 teens last Christmas at Lake, whatever, and the girl last 4th of July. To prove this, I shall state some facts where only I and the police know. Christmas, brand name of ammo, Super X. 10 shots fired. Boy was on back feet to car. It was on back foot to car. I don't know. A girl was lying on
Probably on the way back
right
to the car.
side. Oh, left. That's what it was. Back left to car.
Ah.
Girl was lying on right side, to face to west. 4th of July, girl was wearing patterned pants. Boy was shot in knee. Also shot in knee. Brand name of ammo was Western. Here's a cipher and yada yada yada. Catch me if you can, coppers. Meh. Cipher on your front page is where he's telling them to put the cipher on the front page. Friday afternoon, August 1st, 1969. If you do not do this, I will go on a kill rampage. Friday night, Friday night, something will last the whole weekend. I will cruise around and pick off all stray people or couples that are alone, then move on to kill some more until I have killed over a dozen people. So you can see like how he's spelling couples over here is like COUPPLES.
Yep.
Like his handwriting is horrible. But yeah, guys, I mean, that's the stuff he was forcing these newspapers to print this stuff because of that. It's pretty dark.
Oh, very. But I wouldn't be surprised personally. I mean, we'll get into more murders, of course, or the more stuff, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was multiple people. Right. Like either knowingly or unknowingly, people sending letters, and because copycats are a thing.
Yeah. Well, they said there was 3 copycat killers that spurred up after all this.
Yep. And just remember that flashlight thing.
Just remember all that.
Yeah, remember all that. Just sink it in.
You want me to move to the next one?
We got Cecilia Shepard and Brian Hartnell. Right?
Yep.
September 27th.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on a Saturday in late September, college students Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were relaxing along the shore of Lake Berryessa, some 30 miles north of Napa, California. A man appeared holding a gun and wearing a hooded costume with a white crossed circle stitched over the chest, explaining that he had escaped from a prison and needed money and a car to escape to Mexico. The stranger bound their wrists with pre-cut lengths of plastic clothesline. Without warning, he plunged a large knife into Brian's back 6 times. He then stabbed Cecilia 10 times as she fought for her life. The man then walked to Brian's car and used a pen to draw a cross circle on the door with the dates and locations of the previous attacks. The date, September 27th, 1969. The time, 6:30. And the notation, by knife. At 7:40 p.m., a man called the Napa Police Department to report a double murder. The caller described Brian's car, directed police to the scene of the crime, and confessed. "I'm the one who did it." Police traced the call to a payphone at a car wash in Napa. Cecilia died 2 days later, but Brian survived.
That's nuts.
Yeah. So, I guess included, oh well. Never mind.
Also, the symbol, I was
reading this thing wrong. But go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that. So the symbol was actually featured on a very famous watch back in the day. It was a symbol for a watch. So some speculate that, maybe the killer got the idea from that or something else, right? Because symbolism was a huge thing for this person or people. And we'll discuss later, and I hope he's on not victim. I hope he's on the suspect list. But there was a guy who was possibly the ringleader of like this, I'm not going to say cult, but this little group that tried to go kill people, and they tried to train them and that kind of stuff. So
like Manson?
Sure, kind of like Manson. Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, that one's nuts too. I remember that one's the one that always, like, in the Zodiac movie, that one stood out to me the most.
So fun fact, that's the only time a knife was used in any of the Zodiac killings.
No, it wasn't.
Well, as the only weapon. Like the other ones, he
Oh.
stabbed and killed, or stabbed and shot. This is the only time he only used a knife.
Did he shoot the first girl, the one that was having car troubles?
Yeah.
Because I thought he.
With the first one, the 1962, shot her in the back of the shot. It was a cab driver shot in the back of the head.
No, not that one. Not that one. There was
Linda Edwards,
the girl by herself, Sherry Bates.
Oh, Sherry Bates.
Yeah, stabbed multiple times, and the knife cut her throat. Yeah, she was also one that she wasn't shot.
Oh, I thought.
No.
No, it's the only one that he wore a costume. That's what it was.
Yeah, she was not shot. She was
Right.
Actually stabbed.
My bad.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. No big deal.
Now the costume, real quick, was described as being like a executioner's hood.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because of what he was doing, So, and I'm going to point one other thing out here in a minute after this next one.
Okay.
You want to do the next one?
Paul Stein. Yep, I'll do Paul Stein's. So method of attack, the cab driver, Paul Stein, he was age 29 and was shot once in the back of the head at point blank range. The weapon was a 9mm semi-automatic pistol. Not the same 9mm used in the Farron murder. There were 3 witnesses from a house on the southeast corner of the intersection. The place of the attack was the northeast corner of the Washington and Cherry Streets in Presidio Heights neighborhood of San Francisco, California. So this was this guy's last fare, essentially. His last ride. It was almost 10 o'clock at night. So Stein's cab was hailed at Mason and Geary Street, with the intended destination being Washington and Maple Streets near Presidio. For reasons unknown, the cab ended up at Washington and Cherry Streets, a block away from the original destination. Stein's wallet and keys were taken, and a large portion of his shirt was carefully torn off. Bloody fingerprints, potentially all the suspects, were recovered from the vehicle. According to a police document, a pair of men's size 7 leather gloves was also found. 3 witnesses watched the suspect from approximately 6 feet away as he wiped down the cab with a cloth after killing Stein. They called the police and described a white male, 25 to 30 years old, 5'8 to 5'9, stocky build, reddish-brown hair, wore in a crew cut, heavily rimmed glasses, and dark clothing. They last saw him casually walking north on Cherry Street. Unfortunately, the police dispatcher mistakenly described the suspect as being a black male adult. My guess is they mixed it up because maybe the guy's clothing was black, so they misheard it somehow. That's just my guess. But I mean, at nighttime and they're in a neighborhood, they don't really see him very well. Maybe they actually mentioned black and they're covering their butts. I'm just saying. But they say that it was miscommunication. So the officers would have literally drove right past this guy on foot. Like, wow. God. Okay. So, as a result, when patrol officers Donald Fook, I don't know, and Eric Zelms minutes later observed a white man walking east on Jackson Street, he was never stopped and questioned. The officers did get a good look at him. However, when the correct description of the suspect was finally broadcast, the officers realized they might have encountered him. God, I bet you're shooting yourself in the foot on that one.
Oh, yeah.
This could have been my promotion. Oh, God. A search of the area where, A search of the area where the man had been observed was conducted, to no avail. The man seen by Fook and Zelms were very similar to the suspect observed by the 3 witnesses. He was white, 35 to 45 years old, 5'10", between 180 and 200 pounds, barrel-chested, with light-colored crew-cut hair and wearing glasses. The man didn't appear to be carrying anything, and no conversation between the man and the officers took place. The Stein murder was initially thought to be a routine cabbie killing, a robbery gone bad. However, on October 13th, 1969, the San Francisco Chronicle received a letter from the Zodiac containing a portion of the bloody shirt and taking credit for the killing. San Francisco Police Inspector Dave Toshi and Bill Armstrong, who were assigned to the case, were shocked to realize the shirt belonged to Stein. Still, Zodiac would claim he actually spoke with the patrolman that night of the murder, leading them astray. The three victims, though hampered by poor lighting conditions and fog during the observation of the crime, worked with a police composite artist to find a face on Zodiac. A few days after the sketch was circulated throughout the Bay Area in the form of a wanted poster, the witnesses requested the sketch to be altered to make it more accurate. Thus, another version was made. More than a month later, after Stein's murder, Officer Fook finally came forward about his possible encounter and the killer. In early 2004, the decision was made to close the case, much to the outrage of one recently retired detective. That's pretty much everything on that one. It's pretty nuts. And just like, you know what, let's just give this, like, they said he had glasses on, right? Let's just give this the oh gosh, I can't believe I'm blanking his name right now. Clark Kent treatment.
Oh.
Dude puts on glasses and he's completely in disguise.
Don't even know who he is anymore.
Don't even know who he is. Right. Wouldn't that be wild?
Yeah.
Dude just
he had a conversation with one of the patrolmen.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, now there were some other murders that happened after that were possibly linked to Zodiac. I'm just going to touch on a couple of those, and then we'll get into some other stuff here.
Flashback.
In the Modesto area, this is March 22nd, 1970. On a Sunday in late March, 22-year-old Kathleen Johns packed her infant daughter into a station wagon and left San Bernardino, California, to visit her sick mother in Petaluma in the northern part of the state. Kathleen was also 7 months pregnant with the child of her longtime boyfriend. As she traveled on Highway 132 near Modesto, another vehicle pulled alongside the station wagon, and the driver appeared to signal that Kathleen should pull over. On the side of the road, the driver explained that the back wheel of Kathleen's station wagon was loose, but he promised to fix the problem. Instead, he loosened the lug nuts and the wheel fell off as Kathleen tried to drive away. The man then offered to drive Kathleen to a gas station, but she climbed into his car and discovered he appeared to have other plans. She claimed he also made veiled threats to harm her child. Eventually, Kathleen grabbed her daughter and jumped from the car. A passing driver took Kathleen to a nearby police station where she identified the stranger from a police sketch of the Zodiac. Months later, a Zodiac letter mentioned a rather interesting ride with a woman and her baby. Lake Tahoe, September 6th of 1970. A postcard attributed to the Zodiac featured an advertisement for a condominium project in Lake Tahoe, Nevada. With the phrases, past Lake Tahoe areas, and sought victim 12. Some interpreted the cryptic message as a clue to the disappearance of 25-year-old Donna Lass. In May of 1970, Donna worked in San Francisco at Letterman General Hospital, located on the Presidio military base near the area where the Zodiac Killer killed the cab driver. Donna moved northeast to South Lake Tahoe and found work as a nurse for the Sahara Hotel and Casino. On September 6th, Donna vanished sometime after the last entry in her work logbook at 1:50 a.m. Her car was later found abandoned near her apartment. According to some accounts, an unidentified man named Donna's employer and her landlord, an unidentified man called Donna's employer and her landlord, claiming she had to leave town due to a family emergency. Donna's family told authorities that there was no such emergency and the man was never identified. Investigators suspected Donna had been abducted and killed, but her body was never found. Her disappearance remained a mystery, and her name was added to a long list of possible Zodiac murders. And the last one I'm going to have here, the search for new leads in the Zodiac case led investigators across the United States to Albany, New York. The office of the Albany Times-Union newspaper received an envelope postmarked August 1st, 1973, with a crossed circle drawn in the corner instead of a return address. The letter read, "You are not wrong. I'm not dead or in the hospital. I am alive and well, and I'm going to start killing again. Below is the name and location of my next victim, but you had better hurry because I'm going to kill her August 10th at 5 p.m. when the shift change. Albany is a nice town." Below the message, the writer included 3 rows of symbols. According to an FBI report, Bureau cryptanalysts deciphered the coded message to read, part of it's redacted, Albany Medical Center. This is only the beginning. Investigators were unable to identify any murders that could explain the vague reference to a victim on August 10th. Handwriting experts could not determine if the new letter was prepared by the writer of the Zodiac letters, saying due to the lack of significant characteristics in the Albany message. But this is possibly not to be eliminated based on the limited analysis. So yeah,
Wild. Absolutely wild. Well, shall we? Is that the last one?
Yep.
Cool. Let's get into the 4 main suspects.
Okay.
We'll start with Richard Gaikowski. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Well, anyways,
this could be a long show, guys. Just bear with us.
there is so much.
Welcome back.
Yeah, hi. Hope you're ready for the long show.
Hey, real quick, before we get into the suspects,
Yeah,
we should tell everybody what's going to be coming up here on Boogeyman Radio. Our plans, because some of them haven't heard it. What we're going to be doing, just kind of take a break from the serial killer here.
Oh, okay. Let's on a lighthearted note.
More lighthearted note here.
Well, in 2 weekends, we're going on a road trip.
A little bit of a road trip.
Yeah.
We got invited to join some friends at Ashmore Estates. And yeah, it's going to be amazing. That's going to be on the 26th of this month, which we might do some live streaming from Ashmore Estates.
Yes.
So if you're up late on a Saturday night, we'll try to plan it out.
Yeah,
we'll try to plan it.
We're also trying to plan to maybe do some stuff along the way. So
yes,
maybe a vlog video or 2 coming. You never know.
Yeah. So we got some things we're working on for you guys. Yeah. Next week we're gonna have a guest.
Yeah.
So we wanted to kick off this. We actually wanted to kick off the spooky season last week.
Yeah.
Little medical interruption.
It's all right. We'll save that topic for another time.
Yeah. But this Halloween's gonna be great.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm stoked. Well, I don't know what I'm doing on Halloween. I'm pretty sure I have to work, but it's Thursday.
Now I will say the Monday that we come back from Ashmore, we may not do a show.
Yeah,
but
because it's 4 days.
I don't think it's 100% though. I don't think it's 100% ruled out. Probably like 92% ruled out.
If we do a show, it'll probably be just talking about what we did.
Yeah, just having a BS kind of thing.
Yeah, chit chat. Come and hang out with us.
But keep it creepy,
Exactly. Definitely keep it creepy.
So
I'm wondering if should we get into the suspects? Should we? Because it's pretty lengthy. Like even the first one's like, wow.
We'll just do this. we'll skip these suspects. We'll just go into this new one that's coming up. How about that?
I feel like we should come back to the suspects eventually, though. Like, you could make an entire video on just the suspects.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, why don't we skip them and go to this new reveal, theory. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, new theory would definitely be the best thing to do. So
Okay.
hang with us. We will get into the normal suspects eventually. We
The
will
usual
do a
suspects.
show for sure, definitely, because there's some really uncanny things and how some people. I don't think we'll do it next week because we have the guest next week, Jess. So we'll just have to plan it out. Maybe that'll be something we do after
on Halloween after we get back from Ashmore, maybe.
Exactly.
Since we already have the paper.
Do that. That would make so much sense.
So real quick, let me ask you.
Yeah.
On your list, how many suspects do they have listed?
They have 4 listed.
Okay, and how many of those have the name Lee in them?
1.
Either Leigh or Lee
Yes.
or okay.
1. Arthur Lee Allen.
So Lee was a big name that's come up in all the investigations, which is why, like in the movie, they pinpointed Lee Allen. It was something Lee Allen.
Yeah.
And so that's why that got pinpointed. So I recently found, or there was recently, it was about a month ago, during our hiatus, a guy had come forward and says that his grandfather, Richard Lee Hoffman, was the Zodiac Killer. He's made multiple videos talking about some of the things that he did research on and why he did research on it. The reason he did research is because he used to be a cop for like 10 years. He was a cop. He went to a fallen cop's funeral, and he said, as I was coming back from that funeral, he started thinking, like, why isn't any of my other family members policemen? And then he remembered, well, he's got a grandfather that he didn't know too well.
He knew him as a kid, but like
grown up, the
relationship between his grandfather and his mom was not a good one.
Yeah,
this guy was POS.
So he kind of distanced from that, but he realized, well, he was a cop, and he was a cop in Vallejo, California. And his name again, Richard Lee Hoffman. So there's reasons we're going to keep mentioning his name. So one of the things, let's see here in my notes. So this was something that he found to be interesting. Richard was very similar in a lot of the descriptions of the Zodiac Killer. Richard loved holidays. This is stuff that he remembered. He loved holidays. Always wanted to do things around holidays. About half of these murders were near or on holidays. His grandfather was very abrasive, very brute. He didn't respect women, and in fact, he called his wife girl. Instead of saying, "Hey babe, come here," he'd be like, "Hey girl."
Hey, well, to be fair, a lot of people, "Hey girl,"
not the "Hey girl."
I know.
And he said he was also fascinated with like Nazi Germany. He was in the Navy in Nebraska, and so this is something he found during his research. He was in the Navy in Nebraska, and then when they closed down the base, he got stationed in California. He also had bad spelling. I'm going to share something here. There you go. I forgot I have. This is a new way of sharing, so I'm like having to. Okay, this is what I want.
We're getting used to all the quirks, guys.
Yeah. Okay. Share. Window.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. So this is like his spelling and also the spelling from the Zodiac letters. One of the common ones that he noticed, and this is probably the first one he noticed, was both Hoffman and the Zodiac Killer. They had a problem with the word until, and they would both always spell it with 2 L's. Also, I think it was the word casings that he noticed through some of the letters was misspelled, and it's just an example of some of the words that Richard could not spell.
Yeah,
and these are some examples that the Zodiac could not spell. But here's the thing: was whenever he was doing his research into his grandfather, he found like reports and stuff that his grandfather would write. Even though his grandfather couldn't exactly spell, his writing was almost poetic, which leads to something that we told you guys to remember early on in the show. So during the Sherry Bates murder, there was a poem carved into the desk, and at the very bottom of that poem,
I'll share it.
Yeah, share it. At the very bottom of that poem, there were initials.
What does that say?
R.H.
Oh my god!
For Richard Harris.
I thought it was Richard Hoffman.
Or Hoffman, I'm sorry. Yeah,
okay.
Hoffman. Something else he noticed about his grandfather was that his grandfather loved math and mathematics and math equations. So he had a quizzical mind, I guess you could say. And then the biggest thing was that his grandfather was a woodworker. So the cab driver that died, that was executed, and they had gloves there that they found. They did not actually find any fingerprints. Mainly because
which cab driver? The first one? The second one?
Second one.
Okay.
They did not find any fingerprints because the person that killed the cab driver covered their fingers with like wood glue or wood cement. And again, Richard Hoffman was a woodworker. And he goes into some of these other connections here. Like with the Sherry Bates murder, I'm going to go into these. Sherry Bates was from Nebraska as well. Her father and brother were in the Navy. So was Richard Hoffman, stationed in Nebraska, remember? And then after, let's see. So Sherry Bates moved to California. And then 1 month after Hoffman moved to California, Sherry died.
Yep.
At her crime scene, there was a Navy-style shoe print in the mud.
Yep.
And of course, the poem that was carved with the initials R.H. And then we move to the Darlene Farron murder with her boyfriend Mike.
Yeah, but if you get into that, but real quick though, if you get into that letter though, or there was a letter sent to, where's it at? Confession letter. She didn't know who this was. Like this to me, the girl that gosh, oh no, not the poem. Give me a second. I'm sorry. This is something I wanted to open up and talk about. Okay. So the way that one of the letters read was calling the girl stupid and dumb, because it goes into the letter saying how he disabled the car when she left the car, and then she came back, she was having car troubles, and then he happens to walk by her and ask her if she needs help. Car's not working. Then he's like, oh, I've got my car, I can take you wherever. And then he proceeded to kill her. And he goes into describing
and that just
other things about the killing. So
that's proof of the mindset towards women.
Oh yeah. Well, he said hey, I'm coming for your daughters and your women. Put them away. Yeah. Do not let them roam the streets. Do not let them out. This is actually in one of the letters that he sent to the newspapers. So he was very adamant about people being dumb. in this
You're
instance.
dumb.
Yeah, well, I mean, dude, yeah, back then, especially when you don't have phones, like you got to be really careful with this. Like, yeah.
So
anyway.
I'm sure everybody's seen like the Zodiac Killer's the drawing of him, but there's also a drawing of what he would look like aged.
Yeah.
And this person, his name's Foy. He actually put up a picture next to that aged version of the drawing of his grandfather, and it's pretty damn close, if you ask me.
Yep.
I'll show you guys real quick. There we go. It's pretty similar. Pretty damn close.
Yeah, very.
So, okay. So I'm going to move into the Darlene Ferrin murder, because there's a lot that happened in this.
Darlene Ferrin is the one that was cheating, right?
Yes.
Okay. Right? Like, she is the one that was the cheater?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So on the night that they were murdered, Darlene and Mike, they were actually in, remember, Hoffman's a police officer.
Yeah.
They were actually in Hoffman's patrol area. 5 minutes before the murder, Richard Hoffman actually radioed that he drove through there and there were no cars.
He didn't see anything out of the ordinary.
But Mike later said, yeah, we were there. They were there for a while.
Yep.
After the shooting, Richard Hoffman pulled up in an unmarked police car and had plain clothes on.
Interesting. And if we're not mistaken, didn't the guy shine a flashlight like a police officer?
Yeah, when he got shot,
huh?
They couldn't see who it was because of the light.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is though, beforehand, when he got out of the car and they noticed the flashlight, they thought it was a police officer and they had their IDs ready.
Exactly, which is fishy.
It's a bit strange. Which there is one more twist to this. If you don't say it, I will say.
I'll get to it in a little bit. There's a lot I'm going to put out here.
Okay.
So after the shooting and everything, and he pulled up, he didn't render aid or call an ambulance.
Yeah.
He actually pulled out chalk to outline Mike's body, but Mike wasn't dead. He was just shot. Richard actually admitted to moving Mike's body, went through his wallet and through the car, so his DNA was all over the crime scene.
That's not suspicious.
When other officers arrived, he actually pushed officers off of the crime scene, like kicked them out,
trying to control it. Yeah.
So Darlene is an interesting cat. She had the night before. She had a was it the night before or the week before?
Is one of the two. He talks about it.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go through it real quick, and we're gonna play a video and dissect it here in a minute. Darlene had a painting party, which is basically it was a drug party, in which an uninvited guest was there, and people knew him as Lee, and they said that he was known by the cops. Darlene, apparently, this is from what Mike said in an interview. Mike said that Darlene called him Richard.
Oh my God, it's Richard. And she was adamantly afraid of him.
And they're calling him, everybody else is calling him Lee. It's Richard Lee Hoffman. His middle name's Lee. So apparently Mike and Darlene somehow knew Richard. But here's where it gets even crazier.
Well, I don't think Mike knew him because I don't think
Mike said, so there's an interview
that I could be wrong about that. Did he say that he knew him?
So there's
I know I heard him mention, like, she said the name Richard. It's Richard.
Yeah. So there's a news broadcast I seen a clip of where Darlene's sister confronted Mike because she said he knew who killed her.
Yeah.
And he was too afraid to say anything. And she on the news broadcast, she's literally went to his house and she is pleading with him to tell her, but he wouldn't. Possibly because it was too dangerous. Now, there's an interesting theory brought up about the police in that area.
Yeah.
In which they were all like, a band of brothers and protecting each other's lives. But apparently Richard found out about one of his cop buddies who actually did get fired from the police station for sleeping with minors. One of those being Darlene.
Well, didn't she say that she dated somebody previously to Mike? Like, didn't she tell Mike that she dated a police officer, or that
I think so.
He was in law enforcement or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
But this was obviously the night before the killing. This wasn't the night of the killing. This was before.
Yeah. So in 1974, around the time that in 1974, the Zodiac actually wrote a goodbye letter.
Yeah.
And it's around this time that Hoffman was actually getting promoted to detective. He was seeing a growth in his personal life. He ended up getting remarried to a younger woman. And was doing a lot better financially and moved.
Oh, you mean he didn't have to kill people? Man,
yeah.
Wow, imagine that.
So either his personal life kind of changed, and his temperament and his mindset and this whole behavior changed or something, but it all coincided together with the stoppage of the Zodiac letters. Yeah. You have anything you want to add before I go through the video?
No, that was pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. So as I had mentioned, Foy, this guy, he had been putting out a lot of TikTok videos and things. I'm going to play you guys a video. It's a long video. It's about 10 minutes. We're just going to kind of go through it a little bit. It's a bunch of his TikTok videos just strung together, but he's talking about all this stuff that we just talked about. And there's probably going to be other information in there that we didn't mention.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys are loving the content, if you're loving the show, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube and on Facebook if you're on Facebook. If you haven't subscribed yet, go subscribe. All right.
We'll be back to we are going to be back to the regular scheduled programming. Thank goodness. And we will get the kinks worked out on having things ready to go.
All right, here we go. Let me get over here. Wrong screen. There it is. Wait a minute. What the crap?
What the crap?
What the crap? There it is. All right.
Whoa.
Yeah.
My grandpa is the motherfucking Zodiac Killer,
oh, no.
And this is not clickbait. So please, I need the power of the internet to share this, bookmark it, and blow my comment section up.
He does say the
I want to
F-bomb
start
a
off
lot.
by saying this is not just based off physical appearance.
No, they won't.
I typed in my grandpa's name on Google the other day, and to my fucking surprise, internet sleuths have been throwing my grandpa's name around for years, connecting him as the Zodiac motherfucking Killer. As you can see here in all these pictures on the screen somewhere, that it looks exactly like my grandpa. Let's talk about it. My grandpa was a Vallejo police officer. Yes, the same area where the Zodiac.
Go back to the picture of him with the crew cut. Go back.
I'm trying it. It's a long video.
There you go. No, you're too far now.
It's hard. Okay.
I know. I'm just saying you're too far.
That's the old.
Yeah, right there. Just play it right there.
Fucking Killer. As you can see here in all these pictures on the.
Damn. Now we're going to blow it up a little bit. Huh. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's not wearing glasses. You know who else doesn't wear glasses? Superman. You know who wears glasses when they're incognito? Clark Kent. Clark Clint. It's Clark Clint, everybody.
The new country singer.
The new country singer.
Clark Clint.
Clark Clint. Clark Clint. That's pretty good, actually.
What'd you say?
Clark Clint.
Clint?
Clark Clint.
If anybody's gonna get us canceled, it's you.
Ah,
that potty mouth.
Roll the video.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Oh God.
Screen somewhere that it looks exactly like my grandpa. Let's talk about it. My grandpa was a Vallejo police officer. Yes, the same area where the Zodiac Killer's fucking killings took place. Let's move forward. Let's talk about the Darlene Sharon murder. Let me tell you, this is not in any order, but the more evidence I give you, you are going to be convinced that my grandpa is in fact the Zodiac Killer. Darlene Farron and her boyfriend Mike or Matt, forgot the fucking guy's name, were driving around Vallejo one night, the night that my grandfather happened to be on duty, driving an unmarked police car and wearing plain clothes. Mike, who ended up surviving the shooting, said that they were being followed around by this car all night in Vallejo before they pulled into Blue Rock Springs. They said when they parked, the car pulled in, a man hopped out of the car, and Darlene, the girl who passed away, said, "Oh my God, that's Richard. He's gonna kill us both." Apparently, she was dating a police officer in Vallejo behind her husband's back. She was apparently a thotty. Rest in peace, Darlene Farron. So this guy in her passenger seat is one of her many boyfriends. And it was well known by her friend group that she was dating a Vallejo cop, although she never told them the name.
I mean, honestly,
she had a painting party at her house a few weeks before her murder. And it was said that my grandfather, Richard Hoffman, showed up uninvited. And she told her circle of friends that she is scared to death of him. And he was not invited there. My grandpa denies these claims. He says he never laid eyes on her, but then later goes on to say, "I know that she worked at a restaurant locally here in Vallejo." How the fuck have you never laid eyes on her, Grandpa? You tell me about that. Let's move forward. As Mike said, right before they got shot, she said, "That's Richard. He's going to kill us both." My grandpa's name is fucking Richard Hoffman. Now let's talk about something else that I thought was really weird. In a letter that the Zodiac wrote, and my grandpa's police reports, and also this poem that I'm going to talk about later, my grandpa spells the word until wrong. He spells it wrong. He puts 2 L's at the end. Where in multiple letters of the Zodiac wrote, he also spells until with 2 L's at the motherfucking end. Well, let's talk about the Sherry Bates murder that took place a couple years before the Darlene Farron murder. She was in a library doing her homework. She had just moved from Nebraska. Why do I mention that? Because my grandpa lived in Nebraska. My mother, biological mother, was born in Nebraska. My grandpa was also in the Navy. Sherry Bates' brother was also in the Navy. This is weird, right? It's all coming together. Well, this murder took place. She was at the library studying one night. She leaves and gets shot up, where they found a poem handwritten underneath a motherfucking desk. And forensic analysis and handwriting analysis say that is the exact writings of the Zodiac. And they say that this is possibly the first killing that the Zodiac ever did. Well, this letter was initialed RH at the very bottom. RH, Richard Hoffman. Forensic analysis experts said that letter was written by the Zodiac. So why is no one connecting this to my motherfucking grandpa? Somebody tell me why. It is said.
Yep.
So one thing I had been noticing throughout his rant and stuff I've read and stuff like that's been brought to light with all this, dudes were diddling little girls out there, like underage girls.
Yeah.
Like like the police force seemingly was involved in some P. Diddy stuff. Like,
well, Sherry Bates was 18.
Yeah, when she died.
Yeah. Okay.
What if he met her in Nebraska?
Well, then how old was he at the time? Between 20s and 30s? Yeah. 69. What was it? 60.
1968. Crap.
60. Hold on, I'll go back.
But still, he would have been an adult.
60,
like
it's 66.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he would have been a full grown adult with bills and shit.
Thing is, I think she would have recognized him and probably
maybe she did.
Maybe
she did. We don't know what happened,
Yeah, he doesn't mention it in the letter. Letter he sent.
Yeah. So I don't know, or maybe he just had a thing for her.
Yeah.
And she didn't know.
Well, that's why I'm saying. Well, no, that's why I'm saying the whole if she grew up this is the lady from Nebraska. He was also in Nebraska.
She moves to California. He moves to California.
Right. So how would she not know him?
No, I mean, she wouldn't know how he felt about her.
Oh, okay, got you. But then she would have known of who he is.
Yeah.
And maybe that was the more persuasive of oh my God, you moved here too? What the heck?
Yeah, maybe that's why there was.
Hey, you need some help?
No struggles.
You have car troubles? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a plan.
So
okay, sorry.
But yeah, the whole age thing is what's really catching me here. Like some of the other officers were doing nasty things with the underage girls, and apparently Hoffman.
I'm
was
sure
a scary
they got
guy.
away with so much stuff, like
Yeah.
corrupt police.
Yeah.
I'm sure they got away with so much stuff. Because if Mike, let's say Mike was indeed afraid to talk, well, I can see why. Because if it's Richard and his other band of brothers know, they could kill him easily and nobody would even know.
Here's the other thing to consider. When it comes to the Darlene and Mike case, who do you think wrote the report?
Yeah, that's a good point.
He could put whatever story he wants to in that.
Yeah.
And because he's a cop, they're going to believe him.
That is true.
So
sad, but true.
So whatever happened there, we don't know. We just have to take whatever word he gave us in the report. All right, let me jump back into the video here.
Yeah, go for it.
That my grandpa and Darlene, the one who got shot at Blue Rock Springs, had a romantic sexual relationship behind everybody's back, behind my grandma's back. Let's talk about his character. My grandpa's character, he was known in my family to be abusive, controlling, manipulating, and also unfaithful to my grandmother. Now we're going to sit here and pretend that my grandpa didn't do this shit. They also say that the crime scene was tampered with. Why did Darlene's family get a call that she was shot before the cops even knew about it? And that call was placed by a payphone outside of Vallejo Police Department. Someone tell me that. And my grandpa was first on scene to that shooting. And later it was revealed that that scene was tampered with. My grandpa showed up on scene within 5 minutes of the shooting being reported. He sent away the officers that responded with him. Who sends away responding officers on a possible double murder? And the crime scene was tampered with. It was later revealed. So you're still going to tell me my grandpa is not the Zodiac Killer. What are we going to do about it? I don't fucking know. My grandpa's on vacation in a grave somewhere.
Pause it.
But I'm convinced my grandpa was a Zodiac Killer. Yesterday.
Okay.
When it shows, when in this video, when he pulls up the handwriting similarity, like because they do compare handwritings, yes?
Yeah, it's that real long shit.
What?
Right there.
No. What? When they
Right there.
compare handwritings?
Are you talking about the picture I pulled up earlier?
No, where it's one handwriting is his grandfather's and one handwriting is the Zodiac Killer's. Like that's one picture, but they're side by side. I don't think we've gone through it yet. I think it's later in the video.
It might be.
So what I was saying is when that comes up, if that comes up, pause it.
Yeah. Okay.
I posted a video that's now at like 3 million views, talking about how my grandpa, Richard Hoffman, was a Zodiac Killer. There's a lot of questions in the comment section. I'm going to try to address those. I'm also going to show you guys a few clips from a documentary that includes my grandpa interviewing, acting weird. To my knowledge, it's acting weird for him.
During the ride to the hospital. And of course her shirt or sweater, whatever she was wearing, was off. And each time that ambulance attendant blew air into her chest, there was a little piece of material from her bra that I could see fluttered with every breath he blew into that girl.
That's kind of a weird detail to bring up.
This piece of material would flutter.
And then a witness statement from the guy Mike, who was with Darlene Farron the night of the shooting in Blue Rock Springs.
A friend of hers, and not to worry about it. He was just jealous. That's all she said about it. He was just jealous. She never mentioned his name, but she said something about Richard. His name was Richard. I kept his name Richard. And I think that was his name. She referred to him as Richard, the Zodiac Killer, the guy.
That's that Mike guy.
Did you say he's really a mean temper and that if he ever found out, he would...
So first, I'm not excited. I'm not happy. I'm not thrilled. I'm not proud. A lot of people in the comments are thinking that I'm proud. I am shocked. My jaw's on the floor, and I'm simply sharing information with you guys on the internet. That is it. Not proud. I'm indifferent. I don't feel any type of motherfucking way. Me and my grandpa did not have a relationship after the age of 9. I spent damn near every Christmas there at his house up until I was 9 when my father got custody of me. He would abuse my mother. He would abuse my grandmother and his children, my uncles as well. And I learned that later growing up in life. He hated my mother. He did not like my mother. And in turn, she eventually turned into an abuser herself. Moving forward, what else was there to answer? No DNA shit. I don't know. In terms of writing, I don't have any handwritten anything. I don't know if anyone searched the house for his belongings. Like I said, I am not close with my mother's side of the family after the age of 9. I'm now 35 years old. Here is a clip of my grandpa describing the scene of the night that he arrived of the Darlene Ferrin shooting. I think it's weird. He has a smirk on his face as he's describing the bra she was wearing.
I know, it sounded perverted.
Here's a clip of Mike, the guy in a car, expressing what Darlene said as the Zodiac approached the car before shooting both of them.
Okay,
Yep.
A little bit about me. I was a federal police officer for 10 years. I served in the United States Marine Corps as well, military police. That's my background in terms of law enforcement. I am no longer an officer. I medically resigned in April 2021. That's a little bit about me. I will be going live from Blue Rock Springs in Vallejo, California, the site of the Darlene Ferrin shooting. If you guys want to join, I made an event. It's in my bio. Please register. Part 3. If you have not seen parts 1 and 2, please go watch it. I want to start this one off by saying, once again, clarifying, this is not me glorifying my grandpa killer. This is not me excited and happy and everything. I'm simply sharing information. It's possible
I'm skipping that.
Crying or what?
Please.
Anyway, today we're going to talk about a few things that also I connect as my grandpa being a motherfucking Zodiac killer. Number 1 is in his police report describing the Darlene Ferrin crime scene. He writes it out, and this is all in quotes as you can see here on the screen. Pause.
Okay. I found him outside on the ground on his back. His eyes were wide, and he lifted his arms upward as if imploring me for help. When he opened his mouth to call for aid, blood gurgled out. CPR had just come in, and the doctor removed Darlene's sweater and began applying pressure to her chest. With each downward pressure, a little tag on her bra fluttered as air exited the bullet hole. The ME took this probe and put it in each of Mike's wounds. He was staring upward and fully conscious, feeling every bit of it. Okay.
To read, he writes it as if he's writing a poem, and we know that the Zodiac also wrote the fluidity of a poem. Another thing we're going to tap on is the common misspellings in my grandpa's police report.
Why are you yelling, bro?
And also common misspellings in the Zodiac writings. Although the...
Okay, so this is what you're talking about right here. The common misspellings. I had those up earlier.
Well, no, not that.
Okay.
No, they actually show the handwriting.
Let me see if that... I don't know if that's even on here. I don't think it is.
Okay, so it was in a different video. I watched a different video earlier where they put his handwriting and the Zodiac's handwriting like next to each other, and it was stunning because there were some letters that were very, very similar, very like almost to a T, but then most of the letters were completely different. If you're an officer, I'm gonna assume that you could probably figure out changing your handwriting.
Yeah.
Just saying. And if this guy, he was smart. He was a very smart guy. He sucked with English, which means his writing was probably horrible too. So he could probably mask his writing fairly easily. I'm not confessing to anything here, but my writing is completely different every single time.
Right.
When I do signatures or write out my name, yeah, there's some similar letters, but I do want to pull up something here. That poem earlier. I want to highlight this specific letter that is the exact same letter from how like the piece of handwriting that the Zodiac killer did.
Yeah.
This letter that it's the poem that we shared earlier, but it's just
while you're doing that, I'm gonna little question for chat. What do you guys think? Do you think Richard Hoffman could potentially be the Zodiac killer? Do you think this is the man, or do you think he's just part of a whole bigger thing?
Right.
Okay, maybe maybe it's not him at all.
Maybe not. Maybe it's a collective of people. Yeah, thanks, Jess. Appreciate that. So where it says all over her new dress, that H is the like from what I had seen earlier when they compared the two writings, it was the exact same style of H where it looks like it goes down.
There's a split
and then like it's like a weird like like a N or an M, like a doot,
Oh, doot, doot.
not a
I get you. It's a sharp curve.
yeah,
Not
it's a
curve,
sharp
but it's
curve. But if you look at it, there's other H's later that are different. They're the same. They're completely different.
Yeah.
Okay, so another one. The I in, where is it at? Spilling, the first I in spilling, where the dot is so far forward, that's how the Zodiac Killer would write. It was a very like leaning in. So like I guess this is Zodiac Killer.
On the other eyes,
letter
later,
later,
like it's all right, but
no, I know, but that's what I'm saying. In his grandfather's writing, the other eyes were normal like this. So we have one eye that's forward written and slanted, just like the Zodiac Killers, and then there's other eyes that are, mind you, this is carved into wood. Like this is etched in a desk, essentially. So this isn't a written out with a pen kind of thing where you could cover up and change.
It almost looks like he carved it in, then he filled it in with the ink.
Yeah.
It looks like some smear down there by dye and time.
Yeah. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if the guy changed his handwriting, but I'm not sold on much either. There's just because there's also it's very interesting. It's very interesting.
Provocative.
Very, especially with the RH and then the gal that Mike was dating, mentioning Richard, like in the whole police thing, rolling up to the car with the flashlight. Like it could have been the entire Vallejo crew that got in on it and like what, that we're just like, hey, let's take out some women. And if
it could be a completely separate incident, and then because the Zodiac Killer was becoming a thing, they're like, well, let's associate it with the Zodiac.
Yeah, let's just make up this story to where it's not going to come back on us.
Yeah.
Oh God, guys! Oh
God, serial killer on the loose. We couldn't.
Look at this. Look what I just found. Oh man, what's that?
Oh, what are you taking?
Well, I'm not anymore, but it was on a thing of Sudafed. I just looked over and it's like staring at me. I'm like,
maybe that's the encryption key.
That's weird.
The deciphering key. That's
weird. It's on medicine, but
you found the cipher.
But here's another thing though. If you think about it, like look at this symbol, right?
Yeah.
How many points intersect on this symbol? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
So what if it's 4 that become 1? Huh? Dun, dun, dun. 4 dots.
One. Yeah.
4 dots. So 4 different people.
Yeah.
Being the same person. Zodiac Killer. 4 different people, maybe 4 different officers. Acting.
You got to face it. Everything's cryptic, so potential.
Nobody maybe thought about that. Maybe I'm the only first one thinking about that.
I mean, we're talking about like a group out of the police being crooked. So
exactly, that's what I'm saying. So what if there was 4 people, or maybe potentially 5, and they were protecting the one middle one?
Who knows?
Maybe he was the ringleader.
Who knows? See,
we're on to something.
See how we just took a whole serial killer and we just went conspiracy with it?
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom. That's for you. That's for everybody.
That's Boogeyman. That's Boogeyman, my guys.
That's right. And I actually thought about that at work. I was like, man, what if that's what it is? What if that's why they chose the symbol? Because maybe they chose the symbol because that's the kind of watch that we're using, right?
Yeah, like Jessica said, maybe it's hard to write with wood glue on your fingers.
That too.
And I'm just gonna put this out there because I know Cassie's thinking it. The light in the background looks like a dick and balls.
It's a lightsaber. Shut up.
That's what they call it. Did you make that sound when you go pee? You whip it out?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. All the time.
You just go.
Thanks, Jess. Appreciate that. I think it was a good. I wanted to save it for the end of the show for sure to bring that symbol out, like talk about it, because it just makes sense. Honestly, to me, it makes sense.
Yeah, and you know what? That's what you get for sticking around for the whole show.
That's right.
We bring it all together.
4 points on the symbol, then it turns into one specific thing. And what is that one specific thing? The Zodiac Killer. So what if 4 specific people make it? Just shut up.
Dick and balls on your wall.
Just shut up. I'm not going to have that for the rest of the time now. I'm going to have to take that down and just be done with it. In front of a public bathroom? Oh my God.
Nobody's walking in or out. So
Yeah, it's just that'd be creepy, wouldn't it?
It's like a strip club back there. It's all red. Charles is in the red light district, Kansas City.
Yeah, something like that.
Burning chief colors. They have a theme song, like a
Red Kingdom. Kind of. It's the Tech 9 song, Red Kingdom.
Oh. Did they just adapt that?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's Tech 9. He's from Kansas City.
I know that, but like
yes, it's pretty much the anthem of Kansas. Once he released it, I think it was maybe the first or second time we went to the Super Bowl. I can't remember. I'm during the height of Patrick Mahomes. So he released that, and it's just been a banger ever since.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
They played at the stadium.
Well, yeah, of course.
Good.
They have to bleep out some of the stuff, but
well, yeah,
it's Tech 9.
He's just spitting it so fast you can't even tell he's saying anything.
Pretty bad. There are a few other ones that are fun too, or that are great, but yeah. God, I hope everybody had a good time. We had fun researching this and thinking about it because we've been speculating on this for a while.
Yeah, especially the ending right there with all that. Like it's
that's so very. I didn't see it until you sent me the clip, and then I had watched another podcaster, well, not a podcaster, but YouTuber. She had talked about it, and I was like, all right, yeah, let's talk about it, and that's why I was able to remember some of the stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, such an interesting theory. And then obviously there's more stuff, there's more suspects and stuff, but we're gonna save that for another show because even cutting out all the suspects, it's already almost a freaking 2-hour show.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We're burning.
Welcome back.
150. It is. That's exactly. We wanted to come in with a bang.
We did. We wanted a banger.
I think we blew some minds tonight, and that was the goal. Let's get everybody pumped for Halloween. It's October, spooky season.
Spooky
season. Maybe at some point this month we'll do something in the middle of a week or something.
Yeah,
for like an hour. Maybe rec some scary videos or something.
That'd be fun, like some Halloween videos.
Yeah,
do something actually really fun because I mean my evenings are opened up now, so
yeah,
like on weekdays usually. So
we could do something festive. We should get in costumes.
I don't have costume, sure.
Makeup?
Nope, no makeup.
Just get some makeup.
I've got maybe a costume laying around. I could be a Amish guy. I can do it.
Just gonna get black, put it around your eyes, and be like, I got panda eyes.
What? No, that's horrible.
Call you a panda.
That's horrible. I guess that's not where my mind goes. But
you could be like coming from a P. Diddy party. Just lather yourself up in baby oil. God damn.
God.
Turn down your lights, they're so bright.
Did you hear that was actually possibly a concoction and not just baby oil?
Oh, really?
Yeah. That it was like a concoction of certain. That's the whole thing we haven't talked about either, man. We've been gone for 2 months and we haven't even touched Diddy. Wait, what?
Whoa.
Oh, hey, whoa, what the fuck?
He didn't touch Diddy, did he?
Diddy? I'm ready for that case. I am so ready to break all that stuff down.
Oh, man.
That's going to be great.
Right.
I mean, it sucks that it happened, but I mean, are you surprised? No.
Not really.
It's Hollywood, man. If you have that much money, you could do anything.
I think we'll in November. Hang on.
Either November or December. I mean, I want obviously more things to come out about the case before we really talk about it.
My calendar's way over there. I'm not going to break stuff to go grab it.
Don't hurt yourself.
But anyway, we are going to have a conspiracy show about like the cult parties of Hollywood.
Yep. Which there are several.
We're going to do that next month, though. I think it'll be a good time to do it, like right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving. Yeah, that would be interesting.
So, it'll, dude, and man, there's a story that's out there that it's awesome. It's an awesome story.
Here's the problem with that, Jess. I can't see without my glasses, so I'd be blind and I wouldn't be able to see anything. No show, no nothing. Dave would have to do everything. It's whatever.
It's actually his glasses are what's keeping the lasers at bay.
Yeah, Cyclops.
So if he takes those off, like there's no podcast.
You know what's funny is I actually want to
get neighbors.
Right? Or neighbors. I do want to get laser correction surgery eventually if I qualify. Tired of having glasses.
Right.
And I don't want to deal with contacts. I'd rather just spend the money and do the surgery because I've got like 2 or 3 friends that had it done and they said it's the best money they've ever spent.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyways, that's whatever. Join us next week, guys, when we have a certain guest on our show that I'm not gonna. Or should we say it?
Nah, yeah, why not?
All right.
You guys want to know who it is?
They probably do. I'm assuming they're here this late.
Yeah.
Cassie's usually in bed by now, taking her sleeping potion.
Still a red herring. We're not having a red herring yet. No, next week, guys, we have a guest returning for another appearance. He's been doing some things lately that we kind of want to talk about and just see how life has been with him since he was last on, because it's
been a while.
Yeah, he had a little bit of an experience where he lost some stuff, but he's been back. He's filming and he's collaborating, and we love having him on. Next week, guys, we're gonna have Connor Biddle on for an actual interview, not just a or whatever. So yeah, Connor Biddle next week right here.
Can't wait. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be good to talk to Connor again. It's been a while.
It's up on its own.
Since he started his new show and stuff like that on YouTube, I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah, he brought back Paranormal Encounters. Yeah. He's been
it's a new formula, I should say.
He's been going to place, like recently he went to a cemetery, so that was cool.
Good for him.
But he's also collabing with Paranormal Quest and different tubers. So it'd be great to have him on here.
Absolutely. And it was so great to have you all here too. And if you're joining us after the live session, if you're going back and listening to the recording and everything, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it, especially after being gone for the 2 months that we were gone. Some people just need to take breaks. Yeah, it was 2 months, dude. It was 2 months. It was
needed it.
Months.
Needed it. Refresh, guys. Refresh.
Yeah, we needed a refresh. Little holiday. And thank you. Seriously. Thank you all. Have a wonderful night. We'll see y'all next week. Same time, same place, with my good friend. Whichever way it is. That way.
Behind you.
This way. There we go.
Behind you.
No, this way.
Oh.
You, fucker. I'm talking about you. Gosh.
Man, you just got us demonetized.
Well, I don't give a crap. The guy said the F word like 20,000 times.